Welcome to Tina's Narrations. Here, we share true stories and stories with strong life lessons to inspire and guide you. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe our YouTube channel, and also click the notification bell so you never miss a new story. And let me know where you're watching from. I'd really love to hear from you. In a small, quiet village deep in Zimbabwe, the ground is dry red soil, and most houses are made of mud with thick thatched roofs. The sun shines hot almost all year, and the maize fields in the village only grow well if the rains come on time. Life here is slow, but it's very hard for most families, especially those who have little money and not enough food. This is the village where Sibusiso was born and grew up, and his childhood was full of hard days and empty stomachs. When Sibusiso was a little boy, his family had almost nothing. Their mud house was small, with holes in the thatched roof that let rain pour in on stormy nights. There was no electricity in the house, so they used old candles or small kerosene lamps when it got dark. There were no chairs, no tables, no warm blankets, only worn reed mats on the floor to sit and sleep on. Every day, he and his family worried about food. Many nights, he went to bed with a growling stomach, because there was only a little cornmeal to cook, and his mother always gave him the small half of the porridge, even if she had nothing to eat herself. Sibusiso's father was a poor village farmer, and he worked harder than anyone just to keep the family alive. He had a tiny, infertile piece of land, where he planted maize and groundnuts every planting season. He would wake up before the sun rose to work in the fields, and come home long after sunset, covered in dust and tired. But the rains were often late or too heavy, so the crops never grew well, and the harvest was never enough to feed the family for a whole year. When the crops failed, he had to walk around the village looking for odd jobs, digging fields for richer villagers, carrying heavy bags of firewood or crops, fixing broken fences, or tending to other people's livestock. He only earned a few small coins each day, just enough to buy a small bag of cornmeal to make porridge for the family. He was a quiet, serious man with old village beliefs. A man's job is to work and provide for his family, and a wife should stay at home to take care of the children and the house, never go out to work for money. Sibusiso's mother was a gentle, hard-working homemaker. She spent all her days taking care of the family and the small mud house. Every morning, she walked miles to the only well in the village to fetch clean water, carrying 2 heavy buckets on her head. She gathered dry firewood from the bush nearby to cook food, washed the family's tattered clothes by hand, and cleaned the house as best as she could. When she had free time, she wove small reed mats or roasted peanuts to sell at the tiny village market, earning just a little extra money to buy soap, salt, or a small packet of sugar for the family. She never complained about the hard life, and she always told Sibusiso to be honest and kind, even when things were tough. As Sibusiso grew older, he hated living in poverty more than anything. He promised himself every day that he would work as hard as he could, make enough money, get rich, and escape this hard life forever. He dreamed of building a nice, solid house with a strong roof, marrying a good, honest woman who would love him, and having a family that would never go hungry or live in a leaky mud house. He worked from dawn to dusk, just like his father, doing every odd job he could find in the village, weeding fields, harvesting crops, carrying heavy loads, and helping older villagers with their chores. He saved every single coin he earned, never wasting money on anything unnecessary. When Sibusiso became a grown man, his father gave him a small piece of land. As per village tradition, this land was for him to build his own house and start his own family. Sibusiso was so happy, and he worked even harder to save money for building materials. Soon after, he met Tendeka. Tendeka was from a poor family in the village too, but she was honest, kind, and quietly beautiful. She had a warm smile and a gentle heart, and when she first met Sibusiso, she knew he was the man she wanted to spend her life with. She trusted him completely, and Sibusiso treated her with so much respect and love. He never gave her any reason to doubt him or feel worried. With his father's help, Sibusiso and Tendeka got married in a small village wedding, and they moved into the small house he built on his land. Life was simple, but it was happy. They loved each other, and they looked forward to a better future together. Not long after, they had their first child, a little boy named Cindy. At first they were full of joy, but soon, money became a big problem. Babies and children need so many things: milk, soft clothes, medicine when they are sick, and extra food. The money Sibusiso earned from village odd jobs was no longer enough to support his wife and son. He felt sad and worried, because he didn't want his family to go hungry like he did when he was little. So he made a big plan. He would go to the city of Bulawayo to find work, stay there for 5 years, earn more money than he could in the village, and send all the money home to Tendeka and Cindy. He promised Tendeka that he would come back to visit them every single month without fail. And because his father taught him that a man must provide for his family alone, Sibusiso told Tendeka not to go out to work. He said he would take care of everything, and she only needed to stay home and take care of their son. Tendeka was sad to see him leave, but she trusted his promise, and she became fully dependent on him for everything. Sibusiso left the village for Bulawayo, and city life was nothing like he imagined. It was noisy, crowded, and very hard. He walked for days looking for work, and finally got a job on a construction site. The work was backbreaking. He lifted heavy bricks all day, mixed cement under the hot sun, and carried heavy building materials for long hours. He also took part-time handyman jobs after work, fixing broken furniture, repairing taps, painting small houses, and helping people with small repairs, just to earn a little extra money. He lived in a small crowded room with other workers, eating cheap food every day to save money. He sent small amounts of money home to Tendeka when he could, but it was never as much as he promised, and sometimes he couldn't send anything at all. Back in the village, Tendeka struggled a lot alone. She missed Sibusiso terribly, and she worried about him every day. The little money he sent was not enough to feed her and Cindy, so she secretly took small odd jobs in the village, washing clothes for richer families, weaving reed mats to sell, and helping with harvests, even though Sibusiso told her not to work. She didn't want him to worry, so she never told him about her struggles or the small jobs she did to keep their son from going hungry. Months passed, and Sibusiso's life changed forever when a wealthy old man named Mr. Salami came to the construction site. Mr. Salami was building a big house for his family, and he often came to check on the construction progress with his young daughter Kelly. Kelly was beautiful, lively, and from a rich family. She had never known poverty or hard work like Sibusiso. When she first saw Sibusiso, she liked him right away. He was handsome, polite, and quiet, unlike the other loud workers on the site. She thought he was a true gentleman, and she wanted to know more about him. She started coming to the construction site every day, without telling her father why, just to talk to Sibusiso. At first, Sibusiso thought Kelly was just being friendly, as the boss's daughter. He didn't think there was anything wrong with talking to her. But Kelly started asking him to run small errands for her, drive her to the market, help her carry heavy things, fix small things in her father's house. She always gave him extra money for helping her, more money than he earned in a whole day at the construction site. Sibusiso took the money, happy to send more home to his family, but he didn't realize how close they were getting. Slowly, he started to like the comfortable life Kelly gave him. Nice clothes, better food, and attention he never had in the village. He began to forget his promise to Tendeka, and he started to act like a single man. Sibusiso was supposed to go back to the village every month, but he kept making excuses. He didn't go home for months at a time. The phone calls to Tendeka became fewer and fewer. First once a week, then once a month, then once every 2 months. Sometimes he ignored her urgent calls and messages, and he stayed away from the village for 5 full months, not seeing his wife or his son. He sent more money home than before, but his love and presence were gone. Kelly had no idea that Sibusiso was married, or that he had a son in the village. She thought he was a single hard-working man, and she fell deeply in love with him. After a year, she started hinting that she wanted to marry him. Sibusiso never told her the truth about Tendeka and Cindy. He was blinded by the rich, easy life Kelly gave him, and he agreed to marry her. They had a small wedding in the city, with only Mr. Salami's family and Sibusiso's city friends there. No one from his village came, because he didn't tell them. Mr. Salami gave Sibusiso a good, steady job in his logistics company, and Sibusiso moved into a big, nice house with Kelly, driving a fancy car. But everything, the house, the car, his job, was all in Kelly's name. He completely abandoned his village family, cutting off all real contact with them. Tendeka was heartbroken and terrified. She didn't know if Sibusiso was alive or dead. The money he sent stopped completely, and she struggled to feed Cindy with her small odd jobs. She waited for him every day, hoping he would come home, but he never did. A year after Sibusiso married Kelly, she started to ask questions. She wondered why no family from his village came to their wedding, why he never talked about his past, and why he never wanted to go back to the village. Sibusiso couldn't lie anymore, so he decided to take Kelly to the village with him. He sent a message to his parents telling them he was coming, but he didn't tell them about Kelly. When Tendeka heard that Sibusiso was coming home, she was so happy and excited. She thought he had just been busy with work, and she decided to forgive him, to let the past go. She cleaned their small house from top to bottom, dressed Cindy in his nicest clothes, cooked all of Sibusiso's favorite foods, and waited with his parents and the whole village at the village entrance. Finally, a shiny, expensive car drove into the village. Sibusiso was inside, wearing nice clothes, looking rich and confident, like he had no worries at all. He stopped the car and got out first, leaving Kelly sitting inside the car, so she could watch before she knew the truth. Tendeka ran to him right away, smiling and crying with joy, saying how much she and Cindy missed him. But Sibusiso looked at her with a cold, empty face, like she was a complete stranger. He stepped back and said loudly, "I don't know you. Who are you?" The whole village went silent. Everyone was shocked, including Sibusiso's mother and father. They couldn't believe their son would deny his own wife. Tendeka stood there, smiling fading, tears rolling down her face, and she said nothing. Her heart was broken into pieces. At that moment, Kelly got out of the car. She looked at Tendeka, at little Cindy, at the shocked villagers, and she understood everything. She realized Sibusiso had lied to her about everything. He was already married, he had a son, and he had hidden his whole village life from her. She was not his first wife, and he had betrayed them both. Kelly was a proud, honest woman, and she was deeply hurt. Without saying a single word, she turned around, got back into the car, and drove away fast. She took everything with her: the house, the car, his job, all the money. Sibusiso was left standing alone in the middle of the village, with nothing. The villagers were angry and disappointed in Sibusiso. His own mother told him to leave her house, saying she couldn't look at him after what he did to Tendeka. He had no place to stay, no money, no job, no one to turn to. He went to Tendeka, begging for forgiveness, crying and saying he was sorry. But Tendeka looked at him calmly, her heart no longer full of love, only peace. She said, "When you left us and never came back, I learned to live alone. I raised Cindy by myself, I worked to feed us, and I don't need you anymore. I forgave you a long time ago, but I don't want you in my life again." Later, Tendeka met a kind, honest man in the village who loved her and Cindy. They got married, built a happy home, and had more children. She lived a peaceful, warm life, free from worry and heartbreak. Sibusiso never got back the life he lost. He lived the rest of his life with regret. He never forgot Tendeka, the good wife he betrayed, and the happy family he gave up for a life that didn't last. So, from this story, it shows that greed and the desire for easy wealth can make a person forget their promises and betray the ones who love and trust them most. When someone abandons their family for a false, comfortable life built on lies, they will eventually lose everything: money, respect, love, and happiness. True joy and peace come from being faithful, keeping your word, and valuing the people who stood by you when you had nothing.